Hello, Tum and Toads. Welcome to our last week of distance learning. I'm your health and wellness teacher, Mr. Cox. To close out our health and wellness lessons for the year, I have really fun activities for today. We have a wonderful book to read after we do our mindfulness activity. We're going to be reading Harvey Potter's Balloon Farm. And after that, I'm going to have you click on the link below to do a wonderful Cosmic Kids yoga activity, the All Super Yoga compilation. That's going to be some fun and exciting yoga poses that we learned over the year that you can continue to practice through the summer. Remember, these links are always going to be here for you to continue to click over the summer to have fun with and keep you occupied and entertained and to continue to move and be mindful. So let's go ahead and get started by welcoming everybody into our space. Let's bring your hands to your chest and repeat after me. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind. Namaste. The best in me sees the best in you. Our mindfulness activity today is called Cooking Up Connections. Let's go ahead and sit up straight with your spine straight and your body relaxed. If you like, close your eyes and take 3 soft, slow, mindful breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, think about you're always connected to other people, plants, and animals. And let's explore these connections. Now imagine eating pancakes or waffles. Now to make them, you often need eggs from chickens, milk from cows, and flour from grains. You need farmers to milk the cows, gather the eggs, and grow the grains in the ground. You need drivers to take the milk, eggs, and flour to the supermarket. And you need the people in the supermarket to sell the food and your family to help you buy it. And you need someone to cook. And before you open your eyes, take a moment to thank all of those people, all of those plants, and all those animals for your tasty food. It's easy to see how we're all connected when we eat nourishing and tasty foods. Excellent. Today we have a story, Harvey Potter's Balloon Farm. So we're going to see in this farm, I'm guessing they're not growing regular things. Are they growing balloons? Let's find out. Harvey Potter's Balloon Farm by Geraldine Nolan and Mark Buhner. Harvey Potter was a very strange fellow indeed. He was a farmer, but he didn't farm like my daddy did. He farmed a genuine U.S. government-inspected balloon farm. No one knew exactly how he did it. Some folks say that it wasn't real, that it was magic. But I know what I saw. And those were real, actual balloons growing out of the plain old ground. You see there? He's cultivating the soil to help his balloons grow. Look at all those balloons. Harvey Potter had some of the prettiest colors you'd ever want to see on a balloon. Pleasing purple, orange ray sun, yellow. There was Rip 2-Shot red and Jelly Bean black, bloomin' blue and grassy green. He had all kinds of shapes too. round balloons, long balloons, animal shapes, clowns with big noses and mouths. He even grew monster balloons with scary faces and great big sharp teeth in time for Halloween. Look at all those different balloons. I tell you, Harvey Potter was a strange fellow, all right. To look at him, he was quite plain. Never wore nothing to draw attention to himself. His hair was kept close cropped to his head, overalls with a shirt underneath, and wore his uniform. There was nothing special about his face either. What wasn't so plain about him was the conjure stick he carried with him wherever he went. Sometimes he used it to scratch his back, but mostly he just carried it under his arm. It was Weasley Mayfield who called the government on him. So the government come out to Harvey Potter's balloon farm bright and early one morning. Our whole town turned out for them. And though nobody said what they thought, we all held our breath, hoping we could keep our balloons. We never knowed how to grow nothing but trees, maple, sycamore, pine, oak, and regular kinds of stuff like corn and okra and tomatoes. But Harvey Potter grew balloons, and no one knew what he used for seed either. Anyway, the government men were standing around in white coats and white hats and white gloves. They kept us so far back we could hardly see. But I climbed right up in that sycamore tree and saw everything. You see out there? They pulled and they poked and finally pricked one of those plants with a pin. And what was supposed to happen did. The balloon popped. Even they couldn't argue with that. So they gave Harvey Potter the right to grow balloons. He never asked them for it, mind you, but he took it anyway, just to be polite. And let me tell you, it made everybody happy. Well, almost everybody. Weasels was sore. Now, I had quite an interest in Harvey Potter's balloon farm, and I decided I was going to get to know him. He didn't seem to mind. In fact, he'd let me get to know him right good. I'd bring him lemonade or sit on his porch and swing in his swing, but he never would confide in me about how he grew those balloons. I didn't pry. After a while, I just liked going around him. He didn't ask you no questions about why you weren't this or that. He just let a person be. You let a person sit and think out loud. And sometimes, that's a mighty good thing to do. Still, something in me was a hankering to know. So I decided I was just going to go out there in the nighttime. That was when he did his field work. I told you, he was strange. To this day, I am indebted to that sycamore tree and that big old moon. It was as full as it was wide that night. I saw him the second he opened the door, plain as day. He stood there on his front porch, hands inside his pockets, looking straight ahead where the fields were. And that conjure stick was underneath his arm. He just stood there, eyes staring straight ahead at something off yonder ways. Then he came down off that porch. Step, step, step. His steps all seemed so big and so loud it must have been his heavy field shoes. He walked down to the field and without a sign of warning, commenced to holler. The next thing I knew, he started dancing and prancing with that stick held out in front of him, like it was his dancing partner. Then that stick started to glow a nice orangey color and stood up directly on its own. And when it rose up into the air, Harvey Potter rose up right along with it. The two of them were making some mighty fine footwork. 6 feet or so off the ground, they were floating and a bobbing. Why, it appeared as if the two of them had turned into glowing balloons themselves. Altogether, it was a very strange sight, which got even stranger. Harvey Potter dropped back down to earth, grabbed hold of that stick, and waved it round over his head. He whooped and he hollered and yelled as he carried on so. Ee-yah, yah, 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 yah. Not ashamed to say I was a mighty scared. I would have jumped right down and run for home, but my eyes were just plain glued to Harvey Potter. Then Harvey let go of that stick, and it started to bounce and float over the field, dropping down here and there in nice neat rows. And all the while, Harvey Potter just kept a whooping and a screeching. Ee-yah-yah-yah-yah-yee-yah-yah. And all of a sudden, that stick came to a complete halt and flew right back into his hands. That's when Harvey Potter stopped screeching. He turned around and looked directly up at that sycamore tree. I thought for sure he saw me, but I guess not, because he turned back going around and went into his house and didn't come out again. I climbed down and fell off to sleep, waiting. In the morning, when I woke up, wet with dew and shivering cold, little bitty colored mounds were popping up all over the ground. When I ran back after supper time, they had all come up in the glory of that day's sun. I tell you, it was a sight. Harvey Potter saw me out there in his field admiring his latest crop of balloons. He said I could take as many as I wanted. So I took 3, a clown and an elephant, and I couldn't resist the jelly bean black one. I didn't touch the monster ones on account of they were too plain scary. Oh, those were the times. Harvey Potter went right on growing the best, prettiest balloons this side of anywhere, and we never heard a word from the government men again either. As for Weasel Mayfield, he was so riled up over the fun we were having with our balloons, he packed up and moved off to parts unknown. I remember those days well. It was the summer of '59, when I was hankering to leave home myself, to find out what the world had to offer. Harvey Potter grew me a balloon that was big enough to carry me off, and that's how I landed in this place here. I never did go back home, never did want to. This here place was just right for me. These days I farm. And I'm not one to brag, but I have harvested my 32nd crop of balloons. Now I don't grow mine the exact same way as Harvey Potter does, on account of I'm not a Harvey Potter. I have my own methods. Maybe I'll show you someday. The end. I hope you enjoyed our story. Harvey Potter's Balloon Farm. Let's go ahead and close out our yoga, but make sure to click on the link to your all super yoga Cosmic Kids compilation to go over some of the yoga that we've been doing all year and to carry you through the summer. Let's bring our hands to our chest and repeat after me. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind. And namaste. The best in me sees the best in you.